Best transfers into UGA.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I feel like you can tell how late at night it is when we record just based off of a few key things. Welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. We're so happy that you're here. If you didn't hear earlier, we're talking about the best transfers coming into UGA. So
best transfers.
That is what we're coming in. That's what we're coming in hot talking about today. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Love FanDuel. Going to talk more about them in a moment. Love you. Glad you're here. Georgia fans, take a breath because spring practice is here. It's happening. Football is happening. Football players are out there playing football right now. These are things that we love on this podcast as Georgia fans. These are things that we love. G-Day is right around the corner. We're going to get to see some things. It's a fantastic time of the year. We're talking about this 2024 Georgia roster. We're talking about people that you need to keep your eye on this spring. And we talked about some freshmen last couple days on the pod. If you haven't seen those episodes, listen to those. Go back, check them out. But today we're talking about transfers. So newcomers to the roster, names you need to familiarize yourself with if you haven't already. You probably have, but maybe you haven't.
These three you're going to need to know because they're going to make an impact. We anticipate that they are not just going to be important on the grand scheme of transfers, but actually just make an impact on the team. So don't hear us saying we have to choose people because it's a transfer one. And so we have to come up with three. We anticipate these three. They are transfers, but they're going to be
going to impact the team. That's right.
This year, we're gonna rely, dare I say, on a few of them to fit a role that is going to be crucial for success of Georgia this coming year. Daniel, where do you want to start with our three most important transfers to UGA this year?
We're not going to rank them most impactful to least impactful. That's not what the pod is about. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Let's start with the big fella. Xavier McLeod comes over from South Carolina. He the only one who spent a little time with Shane Beamer at South Carolina and then said, nah, I like it better over there in Athens.
No, how about I dip on out? How about I go a little bit more south?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Out of here.
That would be nice. Tough time to be Shane Beamer. Great time to be a Georgia fan. Xavier McLeod comes over. Big defensive lineman, and quite frankly, we anticipate this is a four-star recruit coming out of high school, a kid that Georgia was in on. Georgia lost out to South Carolina in his initial recruitment. This is a kid Georgia's always wanted, and you're able to bring him in now. Had some productivity last year in the SEC. And so he's got that in him. And on the defensive front, Clint, there's some need and there's some competition, some healthy competition needed. I'm not saying there's holes on the defensive front because I don't think that's fair to say. But Clint, I think you'll agree with me that what's most needed on this defensive front is for some cream to rise to the top. And for that to happen, Kirby Smart likes to do that one way, and that is through internal competition. Xavier McLeod is going to provide he's going to provide really skilled options for this defensive staff to work with so that in practice, in all these spring reps, guys can be pushed, guys can get better. And I expect Xavier McLeod to come out as one of those guys that's risen to the top that gets meaningful reps come the fall.
'Fall. That's exactly right. This is not just about depth, although that is very important. This is also about cream. And so, Xavier McLeod is going to provide very, very important for this, is about competition, especially with a couple of guys with position changes, right? Michael Williams goes ahead and gets on over to that outside jack position, takes off the defensive line. And if we know anything about Kirby, again, don't fall into the narrative that Georgia is a 3-4. You know this, Dog fans, that Georgia does not run a 3-4.
Does everybody know that?
Not everybody, Daniel, I want to caution you. Not everybody understands it's not a 3-4 defense. We might have two big guys lining up on some inside techniques and go ahead and get a couple of edge guys out there that can go ahead and rotate into flats defense or curl defense or in a zone or a man up or do that sort of thing. So I think Xavier McLeod is going to provide needed competition, and let's say worst case scenario, he's just kind of a space eater in there. I don't think that's what he's going to be. Don't hear me say that and make a prediction, because I think that he's going to be a contributor, pushing the pocket, collapsing the pocket. He is very, very, very big, but he adds another element because we just quite frankly need him to, as a number of players have moved on in various different, again, still on the team, but maybe a different position. And this was one of the big early gets in the transfer portal. It was
early.
It was
kind of
early
got buried with some other names. That's why I wanted to start with him today, because I do think a lot of Georgia fans maybe have forgotten about old Xavier. And I think that's a mistake. I was very excited. We had a couple of defensive linemen announce that they were coming back to the team, Nazir Stackhouse and others. And then Xavier McLeod came over to the team, and all of a sudden you thought, okay, well, this defensive line, which we thought could be thin, like razor thin heading into the fall, now looks to be potentially a position of strength on this Georgia defense. You know, we like what we have at linebackers with Smile Mondon leading the way, and then the rising sophomores and the freshmen right behind them, some of whom we mentioned earlier in the week. And you know what? We know we like what we have in the secondary, but this defensive front, don't sleep on them, because I think with the addition of Xavier McLeod and some of the returning pieces, I think they are primed to take a big step forward under Trey Scott this season.
Couldn't agree more. We're starting with him. He was one of the early ones. We're going to get to a couple other ones that maybe you know of just because of recency bias. But first, these. And these include Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claims as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Also, Amazon Fire TV. Daniel, I don't know if you understand what Amazon Fire TV does, but they can see our lovely mugs over on Amazon Fire TV channel.
Talk about the benefits of Amazon Fire TV, because there are many benefits. We don't want to lead with that. The fine folks at Amazon don't want us to lead with that.
Dog fans, you could see us over there. Fire TV is your destination for sports, for live games, to highlight, to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as a Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TVs that provide access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend of baseball, or in college basketball tournament, hey, go Dogs, how about that? You're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a consistent and constant supply of the latest videos for your favorite sports brand, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On, and most big pro sports and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels let you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep you up to date on the latest of World of Sports, March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV.
Lost it. I'll find it. Don't worry. Found it. Where you want to go next, Clint? Which name are we going to go to next?
I think the name that has to be next on this list is none other than Trevor Etienne, mainly because the skill level. If we're talking just pure talent coming in, nothing else, not fit, not need. I think he and maybe one other could be touted as the 1 and 2 most talented. But I think bang for buck, it's Trevor Etienne. Look, there's a reason Florida fans are always mad, always upset, always just angry human beings, because one, you have to live.
Well, why would you not be? You live in Gainesville, Florida, or you still cheer for the absolute has-been wish I had Dan Mullen back program.
Do you all realize, like, this is not, we're not trying to be rude to Napier.
Nope. It's just
you had
stating
it,
facts.
You had it better with Dan Mullen.
And we mocked you mercilessly for having Dan Mullen as your coach.
And we wanted to sign him to a lifetime contract to stay at Florida.
And then you hired Napier and things got better for us. It's hard to believe, but yes, Florida fans are angry.
Okay.
All the time.
So it's a reason Florida fans are angry, but also there's a reason to cheer if you're a Dog fan, because the running back room was not a giant need, but this certainly boosts our talent level. Trevor comes in and immediately competes. There's already rumors at the spring practices and in the facility around
that he is rumors, Clint. There are going to be some rumors. You're going to hear a lot of rumors about this kid.
Hold on. Yep. Insider in Guru has just told me.
Here we go. We've been talking a lot about this kid, though. We've been on it for a while. We think he's going to lead the team in carries this year.
Yes.
And the more we get into it, Clint, we've said it now probably 25 times on the podcast. And so I don't want to start walking it back right now, but I'm just telling you, the more I think about it, the more I start to feel like, was running back a position of need? Like, I think maybe it was because of the injury to Branson Robinson and the recovery. If Branson Robinson is 100% full go, then no, I feel fine about our running back depth. We got great talented freshmen coming in this year. We've got talented guys in the backfield led by the bell cow Branson Robinson, who's going to get the bulk of the carries. But Clint, we know Branson Robinson ain't going to play this spring.
No,
what we don't know is if Branson Robinson is going to play this fall in camp, or in week
if he
1
plays
against Clemson, or in week 2, or in week 3. And if he does play, Clint,
do we know for certain he's going to be 100% full, ready to charge? The Bryant that we saw against TCU, Daniel, because that's
dragging
the thing.
fools to the end zone.
I mean, making us hoop and
holler. When I close my eyes, I still see it. I still see him dragging people to the end zone. I've never been more excited when a game was 48-0 than I was watching Branson Robinson drag people.
They told TCU, I'm running it right side through the B gap.
Here it comes. And all the defenders were there.
And he just simply either ran through them,
he said,
or
it's the national championship game. I'm going to score a touchdown, coach.
I need a touchdown. I'm not going to.
I'd like to be in the end zone now.
All the fun. No,
I think it was a position of need.
I think Daniel. I think we were trying to sell ourselves. I think, if I can be honest, I think the lore of RBU, we were doing the thing where we were trying to say Jimmy C is a fantastic offensive coordinator. We were telling ourselves it wasn't a need. It wasn't a need. It wasn't a need. Turns out, folk, it was a need because of health, because of the lack of proven depth. We lost. I don't know if you guys understand this. Dejon Edwards was not something to sneeze at. That he is no longer a third option
sneezing at that.
out of the backfield, second option in some years. he was an incredible running back for us.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't have him, the fact that Milton isn't there, the fact that we have to replicate so much production, as well as have the uncertainty with injury, I think ETN comes in and leads this team in carries. I want to go ahead and just solid that up. Like that's
leads
almost
the
a
team in
lock
carries,
for me.
leads the team in rushing yards. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, excuse me, I don't know that it's going to be by a lot. I don't know that it's like, I don't necessarily know that he's going to have 300, 400 more yards than the next closest guy. I do still think there's going to be a fairly liberal rotation of running backs coming in.
Because it's Kirby Smart and an offense that knows how to go ahead and keep tread on the tire of these kids.
Exactly. But I do like ETN to get the first and most carries, first and last in meaningful games. And so it's a huge position. It's a huge need filled. It's a huge impact player. We project it is definitely a guy that you're going to want to watch and see what he can do on the offensive side of the ball. By the way, Dejan Edwards, just let the record show, we think you were a fantastic running back. There's no need years from now on Twitter to disown the University of Georgia and act like nobody ever appreciated you. We like you.
Why don't we just calm on down? Okay. Why don't we
just calm down.
Take a beat, take a breath. Let's assess the situation.
Let's do it. We're talking about another offensive weapon in segment 3.
I'm going to sneak another one into you.
We're going to go a little twofer? A little two for one? The first guy we're going to talk about, Clint, I think might be the most productive transfer that we bring in the entire offseason. We'll talk about him right after this.
The Houston Cougars can only be described as an armada. This top-seeded team is a hardcore as it gets out there. So it's no wonder they're expected to land the top seed in the tournament after their first season in the Big 12. What I want you all to do right now is Houston, by the way.
Love the metaphor, too. Love Houston. Love the tenacious defense. They just defend like as if they are an armada.
That's exactly right. Each week, we're going to pick one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest, just like any other all-new 2024 SUVs from Nissan. These guys were able to take it to the next level, take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada, and go find your next big
You said that earlier. Armada.
Adventure.
You brought it back around.
See what I did there,
I see. No, I see.
Shop NissanUSA.com. I said a 2-for-1 special, and I need the 2-for-1.
Okay. Let's get him in there.
Daniel. Me, consummate pro.
Consummate pro over here.
I'm going to do the 2-for-1
top transfers.
I think at UGA. Top transfers into UGA. Let's go. You tell me, Daniel, was that succinct? I ask you.
We love you, Zach. We're just out here having a good time. I want to talk about London Humphreys first. Let's talk about London Humphreys first, Clint.
That's true.
All right, we're going to get to your 2-for-1. London Humphreys comes over.
He's one of my 2-for-1.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying. Okay. We're going to get to the second. But London Humphreys comes over from Vanderbilt. He is first of all, a productive SEC wide receiver.
Yes.
Being thrown to by quarterbacks that are not even playing the same sport as Carson Beck, if we're being totally honest. But Vanderbilt's wide receiving core last year was actually really, really good.
They were
like really good. And he was still among the most productive wide receivers in that very talented group of wide receivers. 6'2", about 200. He's got great size. He's got great length. He goes over the middle. You can hit him on the fade route down by the goal line. Yes. He is a big-bodied, catch everything, crisp route run like a deer type wide receiver. 24/7 Sports has him ranked as the third best wide receiver in the entire transfer portal this offseason.
Well, that's startling.
This is a productive get, like a big time productive get. I know he's not the only wide receiver we signed out of the portal. I know that we have great wide receivers a la Dylan Bell coming back this year.
Mhm.
I think this is our most productive transfer. And I just said the last guy's going to lead the team in rushing. And I think this is our most productive transfer. So
what
you
does that mean, Daniel?
extrapolate out of that whatever you want to, but I'm a big believer in London Humphreys. Do not compare him to Lad McConkey because he's white. You're better than that. I'm just trying to tell you, you are better than that. So
don't do it.
Okay.
Also, Lad McConkey's comp is Antonio Brown. Like that's before the CTE.
But with the feet. But with both feet. Like I've never seen Lad McConkey's foot, so I can neither confirm nor deny, actually.
I don't know where Ryan Day is right now. I got no clue if he's got sharks in a boat on a yacht somewhere and what is happening to those sharks. I can't.
Nobody knows.
But yeah, no, Daniel, I think you're right. I think Humphreys does, in fact, have the most impactful statistical influence on this team, especially on offense, for any of the transfers we're listing. We could talk about a couple of the guys like Jake Pope's going to give depth in the DB group, depending on what happens to Dan Jackson. Xavier McLeod is not going to have a statistical big breakout. I think he's going to be more of a presence on the defensive line. But Humphreys is going to go ahead and put up some numbers. I think Carson Beck season incoming, outside, inside, put him in motion, put him outside the numbers, put him inside the numbers. Get him on the linebacker over the middle, doing those digs. I think Carson Beck's favorite route that he's shown that he likes is that big old dig right in between safeties and linebackers, and the linebackers can't stretch up the field that much. Safeties are already going over the top because of our speed and other places. I think that's exactly where a guy like Humphreys sits right in the middle of that, grabs it and streaks. And if you understand how he played last year, this is a very fast, very productive, catch the ball in rhythm and keep going. Now, my 2 for 1 is this, because if you guys are sleeping on Colby Young, stop. He came from Miami, and Miami is garbage.
Well, Mario Cristobal's the coach there.
So they're garbage.
They're okay. No, you guys remember the end of that Georgia Tech Miami game last year? We watched it in a hotel room in Athens, and I'll literally never forget it. We were recording this podcast.
I was just going to say. And Daniel and I think we were just like grabbing each other, looking back and being like, what is this? What is befalling my eyes? This horridness that Mario Cristobal is doing.
Colby Young said, get me the heck out of here. Welcome to Athens.
I think, again, we've said so before, red zone. Humphreys is going to go ahead and stretch the field, and he's going to get there. You turn red zone, and if Carson, a little hurry-up offense, if we get inside somewhere near like the 15-yard line, and Carson Beck's in rhythm, and he says, get on the ball, and he does a little check with me to Colby Young, little hand signal, kind of left side, and just go get it, throw it up, back of the end zone. I think we're going to have a number of those this year. He's not going to have the statistics that Humphreys does, but I think he will have a number of notable, memorable touchdown grabs in the end zone, because that's what this guy does really, really well for us this year. If you remember, a very beloved Notre Dame touchdown type, like that kind of big situation, big play, big moment, touchdown in the corner. Those are the 3. I added a 4th. Transfers that are going to impact Georgia this year. We're going to have more of this as we roll out, as we get news from spring practice, as we look towards G-Day, because Daniel.
It's right here. Football. It's football.
And the 199, prepare your hearts. This person here is a CJ Allen apologist to the
I'm having to restrain him to great lengths already, friends. So just know that your boy can only do so much. Eventually things are going to be said, things are going to come out. I'm not going to be able to stop it.
I don't even apologize for him ahead of time. I know the lunacy, and I don't even apologize ahead of time. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On podcast. Your team every single day. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.